Hey, I'm back, and recently I've been doing lots of news stories or 3D sound walks and other things, and those are cool, but I thought, you know what, I need to get back to talking about real Japanese culture. So today I want to talk about Japanese people and how they get their names. So, of course, when I first came to Japan, I realized people's names were going to be different. That's obvious. But in Western countries, people often choose, I'm talking about first names here, given names, they choose them by things like popular names at a time, you have the same name as your father or somebody else in your family, or they traditionally come from things like the Bible or something. And of course, in Japan, they have popular names, or they name people after actors and actresses, which I figured, okay, fairly normal. But obviously they don't use the Bible in Japan for names, and it's actually very rare for someone to be named the same as their father, so there's no juniors or anything like that. So I was wondering, like, okay, well, where the names come from. Obviously not everybody names their child after a famous actor or actress, so I thought, let me research it and find out. So, as I said, obviously there's trendy names or actors' names and they name them after that, but another way is actually people's grandparents oftentimes name their children. So if I have a child, my father or my mother will name it, or my mother-in-law or father-in-law. And many times, instead of them choosing like their father's name, they'll take one part of a grandparent's name and then add it to the grandchild's name. So if my father was named like Shohei, I would take the Sho kanji from my grandfather's name and add it to my son's name. So my father might be named Shohei, and my son, I would name him Shota, for example. And that's the way that some people do it. And I don't know how they choose, which grandparent gets the right to have the name there, but that's a common one. They also sometimes do the same thing with the father or mother. They'll use one of the kanji that one of the parents has in the child's name, but it won't be the exact same name. It'll just use one kanji. And sometimes they'll even change the pronunciation of it, so on paper you can see, it's the same kanji, but in the actual sound you can't tell. Another common one is to use a type of fortune telling. So let me go over here. So this, I believe, is originally from China, and what you do is you put in your name here, or the potential name of your child, and then it tells you if it's bad, like this is kind of like unlucky, this is fairly lucky, and this is really lucky. So let me change my computer here, and let me just add a random name here, like Tanaka, that's a common name, and let me think of another one. What's a common name? Yuki? There's lots of different Yukis here, I don't even know, that's not the right one, that's like snow. That's bravery, I'm not sure if that would be actually someone's name though. Let me try Yuki. That's not good either. Let me try a different one, Yuko. Terrible, I can't get anything. Maybe this one's okay. I don't think that's good though. Let me try even better one. Yuko. There, that's a real name. I'm sorry, I'm being stupid for a while. Here we go. So we put it in here, and it should tell me if it's good or not. So here it says, this part is not so good. This part's not so good. And this part's good. I'm guessing this is the overall, and it says, that's not so good. So if your name is Tanaka Junko, maybe that's not such a lucky name. So I apologize to anybody named Tanaka Junko out there if you're listening to this. But like I said, I didn't make it up. I didn't make up this fortune telling. This type of fortune telling is actually called Seimei Handan. So if you want to try it yourself and you can, read Japanese, go ahead. But it's very interesting. It's a traditional way to name your children, but of course not everyone does this. But moving on, there's a few other, I shouldn't say strange, but unusual things. So if we look here where it says like Junko, there's actually two ways to read this, which is really difficult. And the problem with Japanese is many of these characters can be interpreted or pronounced more than one way. So this actually means Jun means pure and Ko means girl. But this is a very common name, and there's actually 2 common names that are exactly the same. This can be read as Junko or Sumiko. And the problem is, if someone writes this, how do you know what their name is? Is their name Junko or is it Sumiko? You can't tell. So you have to actually ask this person, and sometimes they'll have like readings at the top in hiragana that will tell you what this person's name is pronounced as. And for most names it's not a problem, but for some there are, and for names that aren't common, you really don't know how to pronounce them. You can guess, but you honestly don't know. One of the problems with this is there's these names now which they call kira names, and basically people make up names using strange readings, or they have like an idea for a name and then they use kanji to make that, and it looks strange. So I'll give you some examples here. There's a good article. I'll try to link this below, but it has one. So the first one is Pikachu. So this one is Hika, I believe, or Hikaru, and then Chu is like universe. So you put them together, this Hika is like shining. So it's like shining universe, but they named their child Pikachu. This other one, it says, they pronounce it Kite, but really I don't think this can be pronounced like that, but it looks like love kitty. Next one, Naushka. This one is also strange, like this is Ima, which means like now. It says it can be pronounced now, but I've never heard this kanji pronounced as now, but maybe it's like an English pun, I don't know. And Shika is like deer, so I don't know where they come up with that. But I guess that's popular because of the Miyazaki movie. Panda, I don't know where they got that from. Peko, that seems strange. This is the best one. So you see this character here, and then they pronounce the name Tetris because the character looks like a Tetris block. Yeah, so I like this kanji. This kanji actually means, was it convex? Yeah, convex. I can't even remember that in English. Which one is convex and concave? Concave is the one that goes in, so that one's convex. Anyways, same thing with this one, Mars. This pronunciation is completely off. You shouldn't pronounce these characters this way, but they say, you pronounce it Mars. But actually, this character means the planet Mars. So you can see the other ones here. They pronounce this character means man, but they have it pronounced as Adam. So these people are really against these, and they hate them because they're like, what? Why is this here? And like nobody can read this. If you see this, like, what is your name? How's it pronounced? And people are gonna mispronounce your name. So many people in Japan really hate this, but I think it's kind of interesting sometimes. I don't hate it, although it's a little bit strange sometimes. Like this, especially this last one. This one, they did the opposite. They didn't think of the meaning. They just thought of the sounds, and then they put those together. So it's pronounced Diana, like Princess Diana, but the meaning just means big hole. So I don't know if you want your daughter being named Big Hole, but if you do, there you go. And so they have that there. And obviously there's some names you actually can't name your child, so they have like some banned kanji, or actually banned meanings, like they won't let you do it, but I guess these are all okay. And to finish off, I'll show you last year's top, was it 5 or 10 names for babies. So you can see what are popular names for babies now. So you see for boys, number 5 is Yuma. Number 4 is Minato. Number 3 is Haruto. Number 2 is Hiroto. And number 1 is Rin. And then going here is number 5 for girls is Sakura. That's nice because, you know, like the tree. Next one, number 4, is also Sakura, and which also highlights the problem with Japanese. They're both pronounced Sakura, but you see this one is hiragana, and this one actually has kanji. So this Sakura means this tree. This one means like blooming good or blooming well. So this kanji means like to bloom, and this kanji means good. So even though they're pronounced the same, the meaning is actually a little bit different. Next one is Yua. Number 2 is Hina, and number 1 is Himari, like the flower. So I don't know if this Hina is good vegetables. But actually another strange thing is you'll probably see these names on the list other places where you see like, there's another Hina, but it uses different kanji, so it's, you know, like technically a different name. So oftentimes you go into like a school or something, you'll see more than one girl or boy with the exact same name, but they'll have different kanji. So that's another interesting thing. And I should say, over time, names in Japan have really changed. So before, it was really popular to name girls with ko. It was something something ko, like Yuko, Hiroko, Yaiko, etc. And oftentimes what they do is, especially after World War II, they'd have so many children, they'd just name their children like number ko, like, what is it? Is it Yaiko? It means, what is it? Eighth child? So people would do things like that. Or Mitsuko, it would be Mitsu's 3, and ko means child, so it'd be like the third child, so they just named them like that. But I think probably about 20 years ago or 30 years ago, it changed from ko to mi. Mi means beauty, so they would use that for girls. And although it seems to have died down about 30 years ago for boys, ta, meaning like fat, but I think it actually means healthy when you put it with a name. They don't have any here, see? It's not popular anymore, but it would be like Shota, or Hirota, or what's another one? Sota, anything with ta at the end. And so these things kind of go in fashion and out of fashion, although they don't really seem that cyclical to me, because I haven't heard anybody's like a historical name that's come back, or names of like really old people where it's like, this 80-year-old person will have the same name as like a baby. That really doesn't happen. It seems like once the names are done, they just kind of throw them away and they don't ever come back. But if I'm wrong, let me know. So maybe they do cycle around and maybe I just don't know about it. So if you found that they cycle around, let me know below. But that's it for today. I hope I taught you something and you learned something new about names in Japan. If you like this, let me know. Leave a message below. And until next time, see you.